me briefly answer the questions just to jump the ball. What is the model or process which you would follow to establish to bring the best of the best? I would say a model based on how nature works, how nature innovates, and nature's timelines and cycles, and how it ensures that every single species succeeds, and how does it make sure every single cell, every single seed it makes has the same ingrained DNA. That's a very, very fundamental lesson which I think we as humans have kind of missed it along the way, and why most organizations today are kind of struggling on this particular aspect. So I would say, like, I would use nature as the way, because everybody has the Google way or the Microsoft way, which is all great, but I think I would recommend a way which is very, very old and from time immemorial, and that's probably the best example at this point. Second is, what is the onboarding time and processes before you get tangible output? What is your resource ramp up organization? Okay, so first simple thing is, like, I think we need to synchronize. I think most of the other processes, checklists, things as a corporate entity we do know, but only thing which is missing, which I see not just for us but as long as the entire human race, is like we have slowly started getting disconnected from nature's cycle. Because if you just look around, like plants, animals, everybody follows a certain nice season. There is spring, summer, autumn, winter. Okay, so to correlate and map it to our process, spring is like, a lot of fresh ideas are coming, a lot of things are in bloom. So I feel like that is like getting ideas. That is the ideation phase when everybody's joining, new recruits are joining, new students are being recruited into the fold. They're all being trained, they're all being onboarded, and there's a lot of new buzz and a lot of energy. Summer is a time when, if you see, like, everything is in full bloom. That means if you look outside, people are laughing and playing, and there's a lot of joy. So that's also like the time when everything in the company, like teams are now ready, they're all blooming out. New leaves are formed, new flowers are being formed, and birds, everybody's like building their nests, and like all the activities are at their peak. And then it comes to a fall phase. Fall phase, if you see, like, the leaves are all transforming colors. So that's when, like, things are slowly settling down. There's a lot of iteration, any ideas which has been formed, we need to kind of cross check, and teams are cross linked. If they need resources are being mapped out to each other, but they're really getting ready for the big harsh winter. Winter is the time when, if you see, like, the leaves start falling down, which is a very natural way of saying, okay, things which cannot survive, or things which are not naturally you don't go and just cut it off. It falls by itself. And even if it falls, there's a very nice way by which it falls down on the foot of the tree, and then it becomes manure, it becomes compost, and then it once again comes energized back into the tree. And there are certain things which can withstand the winter, which become the seeds or the fruits which sustain and go on to the next cycle. So most of the questions in terms of how would you validate the business. So in this cycle, each of the product or each of the idea will be put to really rigorous tests, like going out to the market, meeting the customers, meeting the investors, and really only things which can stand will sustain and be taken to the next cycle, and rest of that will wither down. Okay, right now it may sound a little vague, but later on I'll kind of explain back into the story. Okay, how does these ideas get validated and scored, benchmarks, frequency, etc. Okay, if you look at the tree, like, if you have any doubt, just look out your window. If you see, like, trees' roots, they provide the main source, which is like water. In this case, like, let's take it finance or funding or whatever. But in the current context of startup funding and all that, sometimes too much money is following too few companies. It is like a leaf just wants a few drops of water, you're just pouring buckets into it, because, like, it's a kind of a greedy way of thing, which often kills that particular flower. Whereas tree, by nature, every single cell, every single flower or leaf or whatever does a certain role to its max capacity, and the tree as a whole tries to make sure every single point gets just the right amount of resources, right amount of water and nutrients. There's not too much, there's not too little, there's no wastage. At the same time, it doesn't let something die by itself, because that's the whole planning. So that's where I feel that there's a certain part of the organization which is providing the core support. For example, the senior management and all. The job or the role is to make sure the industry contacts, or the finances, or the funds, the startup funds or the seed funds are required for each of these ideas or teams to flourish. They are provided at the right time, at the right instant, at the right amount. okay, and how many flowers we have, like in terms of how many ideas we have, and how many are going to go into fruition. Okay, it's a sum total of the energy. Okay, if you look at the tree, when it starts off initially, it may have only 1 or 2 flowers. The next year it may have 10, then it might have 100. So the same organization, okay, it's not like a benchmark is set on 10% or whatever it is. Like the real thing is, like if you map yourself to nature in first year, second year, third year, fourth year, just by following the same processes, we could actually support hundreds of ideas, and each of them will be in full bloom, and each of them can actually fruition into success. Okay, so that's very broad, high level. I'll kind of explain how it comes to. So that's basically what I will say is like how we will validate each of the ideas, how each of these ideas gets the same amount of attention, nutrition, so that each of them have potential to succeed. Okay, and the fifth question is like what kind of idea life cycle, idea to POC, POC to solution, which, as I explained, like by following nature's cycle. Okay, so by mapping to each of those gates, nature automatically has these gates, like very clear end of the season. Okay, so these will automatically correspond to what we also do. The simple thing why I feel that this might sync well and easy to relate to any organization is we are also part of nature. So in spring and summer, there's a lot of sunlight, people are very happy, they intrinsically are very energetic, they can do a lot of work. But as it becomes fall and winter, by nature, like the tendency is kind of slow down and all that. And this rhythm is very important in life. And most of the animals, they sink into it. It's like the jet stream in the ocean. Like if you're in sync with that, so you are part of nature's cycle, and nature will make sure that you don't collapse. Whereas like humans, we are always doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We go to office in the night, try to do things in the night when you're supposed to sleep. It's always we're trying to do the same thing all through the year. Like for example, recruitment as a process. Okay, recruitment, I will tap it to the spring phase, whereas like a lot of ideas have come. Once the ideas have germinated, you don't have continuously seeds germinating all through the year. Okay, if a seed comes and falls in winter, you can say like if I have an idea in December, should I have to wait for the next cycle? The answer is like look out at nature. If a seed comes in winter when the whole ground is covered in snow, there is no chance. The survival rate is very low, and it takes a lot of effort to break that cycle and support just that one little idea. So what I'm trying to do is like the whole organization, everybody is tuned into the cycle. It's a very simple cycle. So everybody knows. You don't have to have a project plan. You don't have to ask a boss, what should I do? Just look outside. What are the remaining 8.7 million species is doing outside? That's exactly what you do inside the office also. Just get the outside into inside. Get in sync with nature's wave, because that is the wave of innovation which has been sustaining and continuing to progress across millions of years.